Right, we are good.
All right, everybody. We have technology that is actually working for us tonight. So thank you for your patience and thank you for joining the show. We have a huge one ahead of us this evening because we have a ton of information to get through. But thank you for joining another episode of League One on the Rocks. My name is Rich. You can find me on Twitter at I'm Rich, but I'm not. Joined as always by the man across from me in the screen here. That is Brian at Mediocre Race on Twitter. Brian, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Better than yesterday when we had a little bit of technical difficulties, but it happens. You can't get too upset about it.
Yep. I was pretty darn upset that we didn't get to do a show last night. I was really looking forward to it. But luckily we have an awesome outline. We have a ton of information to get through. So even though we didn't do last night, we can do it tonight and it's going to be a good one.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
always.
Yeah. All right. So let me jump into our stuff here. So I don't know if you knew this, but yesterday was National Scarf Day. So if you took part, that's awesome. I have my scarves behind me. Um, I think there's some deals going on around the country. There's one specific one that's happening over at Ford Madison, where you can get three scarves for $36, and that deal is good through tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central Time. So jump on that deal because you know that they have some good scarves over there.
Oh yeah, $12 a scarf. I mean, you can't beat that at all.
Yeah, especially when you walk into a normal team store and they're close to $40. Yeah, if it's $12, take advantage of that deal.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if you heard this. So this has been out in the news for about a month now. Uh, the International Football Association Board, IFAB, is thinking about changing the verbiage related to the offside rule in the law book. And this comes from a video that's been circulating on social media. There have been other interviews since then to get some details from that coach from the third division Swedish club Thorns IF. And in the law book, if you look at the offside rule, the specific verbiage is when a player is in an offside position at the moment the ball is played or touched by a teammate. You have to be in front of the second to last defender. Now, this coach found a loophole. So if your player is in an onside position and your teammate rolls the ball up onto his foot, technically the ball is still in the middle of its first touch or still being played. So
Hmm.
if that player goes and runs from an onside position into an offside position, they're still considered onside, and that player can flick the ball from his foot over the defense to that player running at the goal, and he's still considered onside.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like by letter of the law, that's how it should be. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely gotta look at that verbiage on that and figure out what exactly went wrong and how you can close that loophole.
Yep. It's really interesting because he had several players who were being called offside, and he had to argue, this is the letter of the law. We are abiding by it. And so that forced IFAB to come out and say, all right, fine. We'll take a look at the verbiage. We'll look at, changing it in the future. So I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, I just wonder if they ever if it cost them any games or if it won them any games. That's the real question. If it was done in a route or, to not really change the outcome of the match, then sure, why not? Not a big deal. But if it changed the outcome of the match, definitely a big deal.
And the amount of time that it would take to roll the ball up on the foot and to flick it over the defense for that oncoming player, I feel like the defense would be right on top of that player while he's trying to do that.
Yeah, that
So,
that feels more like a backyard kind of
yeah,
move than anything else.
I can't imagine the success rate is all that great.
No.
It's kind of like Mighty Ducks 2 with the knuckle puck time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, so we're gonna be jumping into an awesome episode tonight. There's some awesome matches that are gonna be taking place starting even less than 24 hours from now. So the playoff chase is full on steam ahead. And this could be the weekend where every single playoff spot is clinched. Now, from there, the slotting battle would take place. But
Right.
this week could be when every single or every one of those six clubs clinches a playoff spot. But we'll jump into that here as we get into the previews. And before we get too far, Brian, what you drinking?
Um, I have water with me right now, and I'll probably drink water for most of the night. I may or may not go upstairs. I have a few backswing brewing company beers up there, so I might dip into that before too long. But for right now, just water.
Very cool. And Northern Colorado people out there, you're going to love me tonight. I'm trying Voodoo Ranger for the first time tonight.
It's good stuff. I love Voodoo Ranger.
So I'm going to use the mug from Oktoberfest. I'm not normally an IPA person, but when I saw that it was Voodoo Ranger, I figured, what the hell? I'll give it a try.
Yeah, it's usually a little bit more mellow than some of the more hardcore IPAs, so
Yeah,
I think you'll like it.
cool. All right, so let's do a quick review of week 28. So we had four teams that played twice. We had Central Valley, we had Ford Madison, North Carolina, and Northern Colorado. No teams had a bye week. We don't have any bye weeks for the rest of the season.
It's good.
Um, but we still have a few teams that have, um, double match weeks. Here this late in the season.
Hmm. Well, yeah, you
But
got a
on,
couple matches that have had to be rescheduled and stuff like that. So,
yeah,
I mean, that just ends up happening. I mean, it's how long the season is, it's bound to happen.
yeah. On Wednesday night, we had a scoreless draw between Madison and Northern Colorado. That one was, as even as it gets from a statistical standpoint. Not only was it 0-0, they were close in their XG, they were close in their defensive XG, they were close in shots on target. I mean, this was a very even match.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem like that going into that was going to happen. That was going to be the thing. Um, I mean, Madison has been very up or down, and they haven't been a team that really has been consistent for the whole season. Where Northern Colorado has just been consistently good all season. So I was expecting a totally different match, and it comes out a 0-0 draw. I mean, it helps out some of the teams around them in the table for sure on both sides of NoCo and Madison. So
Yep.
a draw here really put a damper on both of these teams' hopes for where they're going to seed in the playoffs.
And speaking of that gift they provided to other teams, later that same night, North Carolina defeated Central Valley Fuego 3-0. Um, so, by virtue of that victory, North Carolina jumped to first place in the standings. And by the end of the week, Northern Colorado actually dropped to third.
Hmm.
But that's because of some of the Saturday matches, because Charlotte defeated Ford Madison 2-0. That featured a wacky goal. I don't know if you remember this one, but Stephen Payne cleared the ball, and it ended up going off of Corey Bennett's. I think it was his head or his shoulder or maybe his chest, but it was up high,
Hmm.
and it bounced up high and actually
Yeah.
went into the net.
Hmm. Yeah, that not one that you really see too often. That's for sure. But that's exactly what this league is all about, is this wacky weird stuff. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, a goal's a goal. You got to take them however you can get them.
Yes, sir.
And then we had that chaotic match in Lexington where Chattanooga won 5-3 on the road.
Yeah, I mean, uh, so unfortunate for Lexington to give up five
Yeah,
um to Chattanooga in this match. And I mean, scoring three, you'd think Yeah, you score 3 goals, more often than not, you're winning the match. But I mean, 5 goals is insane. So you gotta give credit out to Chattanooga for really taking the fight to Lexington and not even you know Lexington not just falling out of the playoffs, but Chattanooga clawing them down out of playoff position in this one.
Yep. And speaking of credit toward Chattanooga, they have now had two players on their team score more than 10 goals for the first time in club history. Rapapa Mensah got his 10th goal of the season, and Siobhan Marsh is sitting at 11 goals this season. So, congrats to those guys. Congrats to the club. So, pretty historic win for them, and a little bit of smaller history there happening off the field too.
Yeah, it's always good to see.
Yeah. And then another crucial win for Tormenta hosting One Knox. Man, that was a crucial win.
Yeah, I mean this really kind of put a huge damper on One Knox's playoff hopes here. This all but knocked them out of playoff contention.
Yeah,
So obviously we got Tormenta who has to win every single match from here on out to sniff the playoffs. Man, I mean they took the first step on Saturday. So step one
yep,
complete. Now you only got what 3 or 4 more steps to go.
yeah. You have Tormenta, who's won crucial matches let's see, 2 weeks ago against North Carolina, and then now this week, last week against One Knox. And then on the flip side, you have a One Knox team that was facing a crucial match against Greenville, lost that one, and then they had another crucial match here with Tormenta and lost that one as well. So just a few weeks ago, I was one of the people who was saying that I felt comfortable about One Knox getting into the playoffs. Nope, that
Not
changed
in,
real
yeah.
quick.
Yep, I'm right there with you. I thought One Knox was going to have a serious chance to get in, but doesn't look that way. But still, time this season to make your first season in League One successful in other ways. I mean, it's setting you up to now you know what the league kind of looks like. So build momentum into next year. That should be the goal for the rest of the season for them.
Yeah. And then later on Saturday night, we also had Union Omaha hosting Central Valley, taking a 2-1 victory. It was a pretty nerve wracking one, though.
Mm-hmm. It was. But we see this every week with Central Valley. They don't lose by much when they lose. It was a little strange to see them strike first and it take Omaha 20 minutes to respond. But um, that's what good teams do. They find a way to win, and in this case, Omaha ended up grinding out a win against a uh, a very scratchy and clawy style Central Valley Fuego.
Yeah, not only was Central Valley really um, doing a great job of battling it out there in the midfield, the goals that Union Omaha had to score in order to beat Central Valley.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, Central Valley lost, but those are those are great goals
Mm-hmm.
to concede. So I wouldn't hang your head too low if I'm Central Valley.
Yeah, one of them. I mean, one of them just won goal of the week today. So I
Yeah,
mean, you can't be too upset about that. Just a great shot.
yeah. And then to finish off Saturday night, we had a 1 versus 2 matchup with North Carolina going on the road to Northern Colorado and actually shutting out Northern Colorado on the road 2-0.
Yeah. This was a this was kind of one of those statement games, obviously. And I mean, for North Carolina to go to Northern Colorado and get a 2-0 decisive victory like that um, shows that they're serious as well. I mean, there's 3 teams right now at the top of the league that are going to be fighting for that number 1 spot. Um, and it's NCFC Omaha and NOCO. So
Yep.
this was just one of those head-to-head matchups that possibly maybe a playoff preview or a final preview. So
Yeah. And then we finished off week 28 with a Greenville victory over Richmond in City Stadium, 2-1. This was rescheduled because of the tropical storm.
mhm.
Um, Man, that I think it was Leo Castro there in the second half. That goal he scored. Ooh,
On his breakaway.
yeah, that was
Oh
nice.
yeah, when you fake out the keeper with a fake shot and then just dribble around and put it in, that's no, just stop. Too good. Too cool.
Yeah, and the pass to send him up top, that was a good pass too.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right, so we're looking at predictions from week 28. The results came in, and Brian, you were 2-4 if we're only looking at the weekend matches.
Mhm.
But despite the fact that you were 2-4, you also predicted the exact score of the Richmond Greenville match. So there you go, man.
Yep.
Congrats. The fans were 3-3. If we include all of Week 28 matches, they were 4-4.
Very
And then
nice.
I was 4-2, and I predicted the exact score of the Union Omaha Central Valley match. So thank you. Um, so yeah, it was a successful week all around um, with our predictions. So now we move into some of the League One news. This was hot off the press just from earlier this afternoon. Union Omaha welcomed a new member to their ownership group. Nick Hexum, the lead vocalist and rhythm guitarist from the band 311, is now a part of the ownership group.
Hmm. Yeah. Obviously with Omaha ties and stuff like that, and it's exciting to see um, another one of the, I guess you call celebrity style owners coming into another team. I know there's a few up in championship that have some pretty famous owners as well. So
Yep.
um, it's good to see, and it's good to see it expand down to the League One level as well. So always good things. Anytime anybody wants to buy into League One or a team in League One, that's only good for the league itself.
Yeah. There are too many 311 based jokes that are going to be happening here. Even today, there were some good ones. But definitely coming in the future, yeah, there's going to be some good stuff. And then Spokane just announced, I think it was today, that they have tryout dates set. So in Seattle on December 2nd and 3rd, if you go to Interbay Stadium, you can be a part of their tryout dates those during that period. If you go to Spokane in December 9th and 10th, they're still going to be announcing the location of that one. So keep an eye on that one if you are going to be one of those rare people that's going to be trying out. Um, so yeah, keep an eye on Spokane for those tryout dates and make sure you get out there.
Hmm. Maybe
Uh,
see you on
that
the field.
information, that information came from Allison. So thanks for submitting that
Nice.
information. Yeah, she's on their mail list, so she was able to get some of that information.
Oh, cool. I like it.
And then also hot off the press earlier this afternoon, North Carolina signed an academy talent by the name of Adrian Pelayo. He's a member of the Mexico U17 national team, and he's been spending time with the Timbers 2 Academy and an all around highly coveted prospect. So congrats to North Carolina. Congrats to Adrian for signing the contract. Big deal for such a young talent. Good for him.
Yeah, especially this late in the season. If he gets signed now, it sounds like he's going to get sent up to championship with the team. So good on him. That's awesome.
Exactly. He's setting himself up for some success, that's for sure.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
And then three clubs have now released Hispanic Latino heritage kits. We talked about Richmond last week. Since then, Chattanooga and Greenville have entered the fray. Um, so it's going to be good to see all the other memorabilia that comes out and all the celebrations that happen as well. There's going to be some fun celebrations around the league this week.
Hmm.
I made note of it in the promotion section of each match that we have tonight. There's going to be some fun stuff to mention. And then we have plenty of birthdays around the league too. Uh, we have Arthur Rogers out of northern Colorado. We have Jackson Dietrich out of northern Colorado. Anderson Holt out of Union Omaha. Just last week we had Shivani Willis and Steven Dos Santos and Dion Akoff out of Union Omaha. So a lot of birthdays out of the last 10 days. Happy
Oh
birthday
yeah,
to all you guys if you guys are watching or listening.
yeah, definitely. Happy birthday to you guys.
Yeah. All right, let's jump straight into week 29 previews. Nobody's playing twice. Nobody has a bye week, so we can skip by that stuff real quick here. Friday night, tomorrow night. It's so cool to think that we have matches starting tomorrow night, less than 24 hours. This is so
Hmm.
cool. We have Greenville hosting Northern Colorado. What a way to start the week.
Yeah, this is a potentially big match here for both of these teams and for different spots in the playoffs. I mean, obviously, uh, Northern Colorado sitting on third place. A win here propels them up the ladder again, and here with Greenville sitting on 43 points. I mean, that puts them within striking distance of the Independents. So that is another huge one. Just two teams trying to do the same thing, just in different spots of the table. So,
Yep. And Greenville's had a string of success recently, coming off two straight wins. Um, you have to think this is going to be a fun one to watch. Greenville's defense going up against Northern Colorado's offense.
mhm.
It's going to be fun. So if you are heading to this match as a fan of either one of those clubs or just a fan in general, please, thank you. Um, show your appreciation to Furman University for allowing Triumph to play at their stadium this season. It's going to be Furman night on tomorrow night. Um, And Greenville is actually having a 4-pack deal right now, where uh, if you buy this 4-pack of tickets, you get them for $50.
Oh,
So what is that, 12.50 a ticket? That's
no,
not
you
bad at
can't beat
all.
that. You can't
Yeah.
beat that at all.
All right, so let's jump in here. We have Greenville, who is second in interceptions, first in successful tackles, second in clearances, and first in possessions gained in the final third. Those are some quality categories to be first or second in. And if you think about how that affects Northern Colorado's style, I mean, how directly Northern Colorado plays, that lines up perfectly for Greenville's interceptions. Successful tackles, the way that they load the midfield and their defense work in tandem, they're going to have plenty of opportunities for personnel to outmatch um, the oncoming Northern Colorado offense and get those successful tackles. Clearances, obviously, Northern Colorado is going to be, you know, running on all cylinders to try to get up the standings. So they're going to be plugging away, and Greenville can have plenty of opportunities for clearances there. The one that gets me here is Greenville getting possessions in the final third. And I think this is going to be a key to success for Greenville in this match. Northern Colorado is very committed to moving forward. They play very they play a very direct style of play. I mean, obviously, you look at Arthur Rogers playing forward, Trevor Ammon, getting all those goals. You have that entire team that is constantly looking forward. They don't try to settle back. They don't try to swing the ball across the back line. This is an opportunity for Greenville to catch Northern Colorado on the fast break. If they can counterattack with that kind of style and they can mobilize players into those spaces, this could be an interesting one.
Hmm. Yeah, this it's kind of one of those deals where, I mean, we talk about this every week. There's these matchups that just seem tailor made for each other, and obviously, as you said earlier, the styles that these two play really go up strength for strength. You have the best quality with Northern Colorado as their attacking force, and you have Greenville's best quality, be obviously being their defensive prowess. But I feel like this match really is just going to come down to who can make the big pass in the most timely um, spots. So obviously, you're going to have Northern Colorado that's going to want to run in behind and do all that, and Greenville that's going to try to stop them. So these passes need to be pinpoint from Northern Colorado to get past this defense. And on the flip side, Greenville's passes, especially passes down the sides of the pitch, need to be on point as well. You can't be converting long passes at a low clip against this Northern Colorado team because they are too quick on defense to simply outrun. So these this is definitely going to be a great match. Strength on strength, which is always what we love to see.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those matches for Greenville. They're going to be relying heavily on to the production of players like Alan Gavilanes, Noah Pilato, even Liam McKinnon if he's going to be playing.
Hmm.
Um, those are going to be players that are going to be setting up for the goal scoring opportunities. Not to mention, players like Aaron Walker and Lucas Coutinho. So if we're looking at Northern Colorado's defense, um, well, I guess let's flip the script and look at Northern Colorado's offense because
Hmm.
they have failed to score in their last two matches. They failed to score when they hosted North Carolina. They failed to score when they played at Ford Madison. They've been shut out three times at home. Last week against Northern Colorado, week 13 when they played One Knox at home, and then coincidentally, the other shutout at home was against Greenville when they played to a 0-0 draw. So this one has some, there's some storylines here. This is
Yeah.
going to be interesting. Not to mention the fact that Northern Colorado is first in goals, or they're tied for first in goals conceded per match. Now, there's a little asterisk there because they're tied with two other clubs, one of which is Greenville, for goals conceded per match. Northern Colorado, as we saw earlier this week on social media, uh, is first in penalties conceded in the league this season. They've conceded 11 penalties, of which 7 were scored. Now, if they're going to concede a penalty and I'm stepping up to the dot, I don't feel very good about going up against Lalo.
Mm-mm.
I know that they generally say that when you step up to the spot, you have like an 80% chance, an automatic like 80% chance of
Yeah.
scoring a goal.
Hmm.
But if I'm going up against Lalo Delgado, I think that drops
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Yeah. It definitely does. He definitely saves them at a much higher clip than I think anybody we've seen in recent memory for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but then again, like the weird thing too about this is with Northern Colorado giving up this many penalties, Greenville's smart. Greenville knows how to play that game and draw those fouls in the box. So it's going to be very interesting to see, especially with it coming to light, I guess, or being pointed out by Coach Amon out there about the penalty situation. one wonders how much more of it we're going to see now that it was pointed out. I wonder if that was his point as to pointing it out. But that's also something to look at big time this weekend because I know Greenville will do will try to make the best of it. They have smart enough and veteran enough players that can do it.
And it's interesting that you bring that up because Northern Colorado is second in yellow cards. So, going off of what you just said, is a part of Greenville's game plan going to be getting into Northern Colorado's heads?
I feel like
So,
it has to be, right?
yeah, especially playing on the road in Windsor. Come on, man, you got to get out of there with at least a point.
Yeah.
This is a crucial match for Greenville. They have an easy schedule from here on out, like after they get past Northern Colorado, but this match here and now is going to be a big one for them.
Yeah.
And we've been sitting here, you know, it seems like we're dogging on Northern Colorado, but let's spin it and talk about how Northern Colorado can win this match because um, Greenville is ninth in penalties gained. They have four all season, three of which they've scored. But the fact that they have um, four all season doesn't bring a whole lot of confidence that they're going to be able to get a PK during that match. So I may lean off of that storyline a little bit. But here's where it gets interesting. Northern Colorado has 11 total clean sheets this season. They are second in the league in clean sheets. They have 5 clean sheets at home. And they are tied for fourth in fewest goals allowed at home. They have 18 goals conceded across 14 matches. There have only been 6 matches with featuring 4 clubs where the opposition scored 2 or more goals against Northern Colorado while Northern Colorado is playing a home game. You have Charlotte who did so twice. You have Lexington who did so twice. And then you have Omaha and North Carolina. So 4 of the 6 times that they gave up 2 or more goals were against top 4 clubs in the league. That also means that every other home match, 8 other home matches, Northern Colorado's opponent was held scoreless or only managed to get 1 goal. That's really damn good.
Mm. Yeah, it is definitely really good. And actually, talking about the 6 matches where 2 or more goals were scored on them, Tim with Ranting Blue Angwin Media brings up a good point and wants to know what do we make of NoCo being only 5 wins, 5 losses, 2 draws against playoff teams, but 10-6-1 against all others.
That means that they're winning points where they should, and it's a lot closer at the top of the table than we like to think it is.
Yeah, I'd agree with that assessment. I mean, I, I you could also say the top 4 teams in the league have very potent offenses. I mean, they just do, and obviously the only times at home NoCo has been scored on more than twice, um, 3 of which are playoff teams, and the other team is Lexington, and we know Lexington plays up to their competition, so
Yeah,
that makes perfect sense.
yeah. And so prior to those 2 recent shutouts that I just mentioned, in the 5 prior matches, Northern Colorado has scored 13 goals. 13 goals in 5 matches.
Yeah, that's a
So
lot.
if you're looking at the entire season, Northern Colorado is the second highest scoring team at home. Um, so we've given you the storylines for Greenville. We've given you the storylines for Northern Colorado to win this match. Um, it's going to be a good one. It's going to
Hmm.
be fun. All right. Let's see. Playoff updates for Greenville. They still sit at a magic number of 5. They can clinch the playoffs this week if they beat Northern Colorado and One Knox loses to Charlotte. And as we said, they do have an easy schedule going forward. They play at Central Valley Fuego. They play at Chattanooga. They play, and then the very last week of the season, they play verse again. I'm sorry, they host Lexington Sporting Club. So pretty easy schedule going down the stretch. Every single one of the clubs they play after Northern Colorado has already been eliminated from the playoffs. They're in the bottom 3 of the actually bottom 4. Lexington, I think, is
Yeah,
9th
Lexington
right
is
now.
ninth. Yep.
So bottom 4 clubs. So you would think Greenville would be able to pick up points down the stretch.
Hmm.
Northern Colorado, even though they've clinched the playoffs already, with a win or a draw, they can clinch a top 4 finish and be guaranteed to host a playoff match in the playoffs. Well, yeah, playoff match. There you go. And their remaining schedule is a home match against Forward Madison and then a home match against Chattanooga. So not a terrible schedule down the stretch for them either.
Not terrible at all. But yeah, I mean, you have Madison who's fighting for positioning, so that
Yep.
one's going to be tough for sure.
Yep.
And then Chattanooga. Chattanooga is Chattanooga. You never know what you're going to get out of them. So,
Very true. All right, prediction time. What you got?
oh, it's definitely going to be a hard fought match, and it's going to be a tactically interesting match to watch. And I feel like it just comes down to, do I trust Northern Colorado's offense or Greenville's defense? I think I'm going to die on the Greenville's defense hill and take Greenville beating Northern Colorado 1-0.
Wow.
It may come back to bite me with the score prediction, but I do like Greenville in this match.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. Uh, I think Northern Colorado is going to come out playing with their hair on fire. I think they're going to win 2-1. So you're saying 0-1 Greenville, and I'm saying 2-1 Northern Colorado. All right, got to keep those for the records. Got to
Yep,
keep receipts.
gotta have it.
All right, and then also tomorrow night, we just had a 1 versus 2 matchup last week. We're going to have another 1 versus 2 matchup tomorrow night. North Carolina is hosting Union Omaha. Oh, this is going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
This makes me really, really nervous, though.
As it
And when
should.
anybody tells you, well, Union Omaha has the edge in the all time series, disregard that stat altogether. North Carolina had the wooden spoon the past 2 seasons. They completely revamped their roster. They're a completely different roster, completely different club this season.
Yeah,
That means nothing.
yeah. They're a team built for the championship playing in League One.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is a completely different monster for sure.
And if you are going to this match, get there early because they are having a Festival Latino before the kickoff. They're going to have live music. There's going to be dancing. There's going to be food trucks. If you are one of the first 400 fans inside the gates, you get a free North Carolina Football Club mini cooler. So be one of those first 400 fans.
Man, I want a mini cooler.
I
It's
know.
great. You know how much I use coolers tailgating at the stadium all the time. Man,
Yeah.
so cool.
All right. So this one, oh man, we have so much to talk about here. Being that it's 1 versus 2, um, oh, they've already played each other. What was it? Twice this season.
Yep.
They're splitting the series. North Carolina won in week 5. Union Omaha won in week 26. I feel like in both of those matches, though, the momentum was heavily toward the winner. Even though it was a 1 goal difference in both of those matches, the victor had the clear and obvious momentum in those matches.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you on that. I was just now trying to think back to the first time that these two teams played, and I believe that was one of the first two matches of the season. Because I believe that was at UNO's soccer field.
Yeah,
So
it was. Yep.
yeah, that rainy, if you want to call it rain, whatever it was, freezing cold day with rain, sleet, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, they grabbed the momentum early. NCFC did, and they held on to it. So yeah, I completely agree.
And when you look at the scoring tendencies of these two clubs, North Carolina at home, Union Omaha away, it's very interesting because it's almost like they're yin and yang of each other. North Carolina has scored 24 times at home. 6 of those 24 goals have come in the first half. 18 have come in the second half, which tells you that John Bradford and North Carolina are very good at making adjustments at halftime. Union Omaha strikes early on the road. Of their 17 goals, 11 have come in the first half, 6 have come in the second half.
Hmm.
Now, when you look at goals conceded, North Carolina has conceded, so they've conceded 18 goals at home, 12 of which were conceded in the first half, which favors toward Union Omaha. In the second half, they've only conceded 6 goals. Once again, making those adjustments. Union Omaha, in the first half, they conceded, so in total, Union Omaha has conceded 18 goals on the road. 8 of those goals came in the first half, 10 came in the second half. So kind of 50-50 there. The big storyline when you look at those stats is the adjustment that North Carolina can make.
Hmm.
John Bradford is very good at deciding what he's going to do in the second half, how to make the adjustments, how to move his personnel around,
Yeah.
and how to execute what he wants.
Hmm.
And I hate to say it, this does not bode well for Union Omaha fans.
Nope, not really.
I went through the last 10, 11 weeks to find a little bit of a pattern with Union Omaha. From week 28 all the way back to week 18, Union Omaha has given up 20 goals. All season, they've given up 39. So over half of their goals have come in the last 10, 11 weeks. Not even a third of the season. And in those 20 goals, 13 of those goals were in the second half. Of those 13 goals, 9 were after the 80th minute.
Oh man.
It gets even worse. Of those 9, 6 were in second half stoppage time.
Oof. But they are winning right now.
Exactly. You can say all of those kind of statistics that you want, but at the end of the 90 minutes, when that man in the middle of the field blows his whistle
Mhm.
and you look at the scoreboard, Union Omaha is still taking those 3 points.
More, yeah. I mean, recently, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Different at the beginning of the season, though. We got to remember that this Omaha team has gone on this 30-point run of matches, 10 wins in a row, and they're still in second place.
Yeah.
So that just kind of shows that this Omaha team late this season is completely different from the team that started the season. And
Yeah.
the exact opposite can be said about NCFC. This team started strong at the beginning of the season, and it really has not waned. It's only gotten stronger as the season has gone on.
There have been some concerns voiced about North Carolina's consistency. They've been dropping some matches lately.
Mhm.
Um, Even within their last 7 matches, they've lost 3. So I
Yeah,
don't know, man.
this one is a toughie. This is, I mean, I have probably said this on the podcast, and if not, I've said it before. These two teams, I think, are going to finish first and second. It's just whoever wins this match, I feel, will end up wherever whoever wins will end up in first place.
Yeah. Let's look at those 3 losses that I just mentioned. The first loss was against Northern Colorado Hailstorm. They were playing at home. Northern Colorado, obviously top club in the league,
Yep.
highly competitive match.
Hmm.
So there's some leeway there. It's understandable why they may drop that match. The
Sure.
next loss, Union Omaha, once again, another top club in the league. It's understandable why they may drop results, you know, to a club like that.
Hmm.
The third loss that they had in that 7 match streak was to Tormenta just a couple of weeks ago. Tormenta is a completely different club when they're on the road,
Yeah.
and they were playing with their backs against the wall, so they had a ton of meaning in that match. North Carolina may not have has as much meaning to that match, but Tormenta still pulled off the results. So
Hmm.
it's not like they were dropping points to, I don't know, maybe say Lexington at home. It's not like they were dropping points to Chattanooga when they were at home.
Hmm.
They're dropping points to quality teams that are coming in to carry North Carolina.
Yeah.
Oh, this one makes me really nervous.
Yeah. This one is definitely. Geez, sorry. Um, yeah. This if you're a Union Omaha fan, this match scares you, and if you're an NCFC fan, this match definitely scares you too.
Yeah,
Um, this really could go either way. You have two super strong teams that do both sides of the ball fairly well. I, man, this is so tough to try to figure out.
yeah,
You also have to take into account. I mean, Omaha's won 10 matches in a row. You have to think that that run comes to an end at some point this season. Um,
knock on wood.
I mean, yeah, as a Union Omaha fan, I of course I don't want it to happen, but no teams is kind of an unprecedented run. I mean, obviously with it being um, with them Omaha owning the win streak record, um, it's unprecedented. We haven't seen anything like this, so we don't know when it's going to end. But if you go from looking at other leagues and how it usually works, eventually they will lose or draw a match.
Yeah,
Um, and you just wonder, especially with the schedule that Omaha has for the rest of the season. I mean, they play NCFC tomorrow night, and then they're back at home for at versus Charlotte on a Wednesday night. Then they go to Tormenta, and then to Madison. So
yeah,
that's a tough schedule. And flip the script, and it's opposite, really. I mean, NCFC has a kind of middle of the pack schedule with going to Lexington and then at home for the final match of the season against What Knox. Um, two teams potentially at this point that are going to be eliminated from playoff contention. So, sheesh.
yeah. We're getting some quality comments in the YouTube chat from Sean and Tim, both raising good points as they go through these comments. Um, I agree with Sean that if I'm being selfish, if Union Omaha does not get first, I want Northern Colorado to, just because I can travel to Windsor a lot easier than I can travel to Cary, North Carolina.
Agreed. Yeah. That's definitely
Very
the
good
Union
point, Sean.
Omaha fan popping out in that one.
Yep. And then Tim coming in saying that North Carolina is 7-5-2 versus playoff teams.
Hmm.
That's that's strong.
Yeah, yeah, it is. I mean, well, I wonder if Tim, maybe you can clarify. I'm assuming you're going wins, loss, draw on that one. So they're pretty close to even as far as wins and losses. So
Yeah.
they obviously NCFC plays better against lower, lower quote unquote lower competition. Um, but Union Omaha is 4-4-4 versus playoff teams. So
Yeah.
that's about as middle of the road as you can get. Both of these teams do okay against playoff teams.
Yeah.
Um, but with how competitive the top of it's been this season, I mean, it doesn't shock me at all.
Oh, and if you're looking at the playoffs, North Carolina has not only clinched playoffs, but they've also clinched first round bye. Or they've clinched, sorry, not first round bye. They've clinched a first round uh, home playoff match.
Hmm.
With any kind of result, whether it be a draw or a win for Union Omaha, they can do the same.
Hmm.
They can also do so if, let's see, Greenville draws or loses against North Carolina, Northern Colorado, or Charlotte draws or loses to One Knox. There's a lot to say there.
Well, I mean, by that logic and my prediction from the last match, Union Omaha will have a home playoff match.
Yeah,
So, um, what's also interesting about this match is if North Carolina ends up winning, um, and Northern Colorado lose, which again I'm predicting
yeah,
that will lock up a the highest jump in the table from one season to the next in league history. So, and I'm getting that from the League One website here. So,
yep,
potential for some. There's a lot of records being broken this season in this league, and it
yeah,
is insane. Would not have picked that this season, but here we are, close to the end of the season.
yeah. We figured it was going to be an offensive season, but man, this is with as many records that are being thrown out the window. I did not see that coming.
Hmm. No, not at all.
All right, so we've come to that dreaded point of this discussion, Brian. All right, prediction time. What you got?
I'm going to try to be as impartial as possible on this. Um, with taking into account run of form, which is the big one for me, um, and the recent match, Union Omaha coming out on top against NCFC. I'm gonna pick Omaha, but I have a feeling Omaha does the exact same thing that they always do and gives up goals late to make it difficult to watch without pulling my own hair out. But I will take Union Omaha 2-1.
I feel like it would be way too easy to just call this a draw, and I don't want to. I don't want to take the easy way out.
Yep, that's exactly where I was as well.
And I'm not afraid to admit that my bias is totally influencing my decision here. I am going to go with, I'm going to call this one a barn burner. I'm going to go with like a 3-2 victory for Union Omaha.
You go 3-2 victory. And since they put it in the live chat, I'm going to read it out. Tim with Ranting Blue Penguin says Union Omaha wins 3-1.
Oh, okay.
And Sean says
Sean,
3-2.
3-2, Sean. There we go, buddy.
But Tim also saying he's not hating a draw here. A draw here,
Yeah.
that's I didn't want to choose a draw, so I didn't. But I actually feel like that's probably what's going to happen. I feel like these are two teams that are so evenly matched that a draw is the smarter decision. But
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stick with my guns and say UO takes it 2-1. And that's true.
I'm,
Union Omaha does have a game at hand, but they will make that up on Wednesday night against
yes.
Charlotte.
I'm not afraid to admit that if there it is again.
It's tough.
I'm not afraid to admit that if North Carolina and Union Omaha met at midfield, had a handshake for a gentleman's agreement, and sat on their asses for 90 minutes and took the draw, I would not be upset with that. It would be a very weird thing to happen in League One, which would totally fit League One,
Definitely does.
but I would be okay with that. Just
Man.
putting it out there into the ether.
Yeah.
I know that both John Bradford and Dominic Casciato were like, ah, hell no. We're going for the 3 points.
No. Oh yeah. Players as well, I'm sure.
Yep. Can you imagine the for the players on Union Omaha who played last season, the aspect of revenge going up against Rafa Menzigen again?
Oh yeah. It's gotta
Oh
be something. Gotta be something.
yeah. All right, let's move on to the next Saturday match. Charlotte hosting One Knox. Now, this is a match between a club that's very comfortable in their playoff position versus a club that is hanging by the the skin of their chinny chin chin.
Oh yeah.
Um, this one's going to be fun to watch. Let's see, they play at 5 p.m. Eastern time, and Union Omaha and North Carolina play at 7. Oh, that's on Friday, so we're
That's
good.
on
Okay,
Friday, yep.
so Saturday, I may actually be able to watch this one. Oh, but yeah, I definitely plan on, yeah, I plan on watching some of this. Definitely after, by the end of the weekend, I'll have watched it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it'll be
But
a good one for sure. You have Charlotte, who again has been a team that has gone completely under the radar, playing against One Knox, who has not. I mean, they've looked good at times, and they have looked not so good at times. But the biggest thing here for me is with Charlotte being at home, they are the second best team in the league when it comes to playing at home. And Knoxville is dead middle of the pack when it comes to playing away. Charlotte does not give up a whole lot at home.
no, they
They
don't.
they average less than 1 goal per match at home, and they score almost 2 goals at home per match. So, yeah, something there has got to give if One Knox really wants to come out on top on this one. But I mean, the stats don't look that bad either for One Knox. If you look at their away goals, they average about a goal away, but they only give up a goal away as well, which I suppose fits right into their middle of the pack away ranking. So
Yep.
definitely going to be interesting. And another interesting thing is in this entire series between One Knox and Charlotte, Knox actually has the advantage, winning the first matchup this season in week 14 and the week 24 matchup being a 1-1 draw. So Charlotte still has yet to beat Knoxville.
Yeah. The only team that Charlotte has not defeated yet this season. So that's a huge feather in One Knox's cap.
Mm-hmm.
And One Knox has conceded the least goals to Charlotte. They've only conceded one goal to Charlotte all season, which is incredibly surprising considering the firepower that Charlotte has.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's see, they've put up 8 goals against Chattanooga, they've put up 4 against Central Valley, they've put up 4 against Greenville, 4 against Lexington. I mean, if you look at it, even against North Carolina, they've put up 3. Northern Colorado, they've put up 8. Union Omaha, they put up 3. This is a Charlotte Independence team that can score
Yeah.
seemingly at will, yet One Knox is their Achilles heel. Every club has that one club that is their Achilles heel, and we
Yep.
found it in Charlotte.
We sure have.
And if you are going to this match, make sure that uh, you take advantage of their recent offer this week only. Charlotte fans, if you buy a ticket for this Saturday's match, you also get one for the home match on October 14th against Tormenta FC. It's a buy one, get one. How would you not take advantage of that opportunity?
Love a BOGO.
Yeah. So if you are in the area, if you are in Charlotte, go to their website, buy tickets, go to the matches, support the club, have a great time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Wow. This match is deceivingly good.
Yeah.
You look at it and you're thinking, well, One Knox, not really a shot at the playoffs. I mean, looking at the league's website, they have a less a 2% chance of making the playoffs at this point. A lot of things have to go their way, but they have to take care of business in front of them. 2% um, is still a percentage, and being a Miami Heat fan this season, they gave Miami Heat a 3% chance to beat the Celtics in the Eastern Conference playoffs. So it can be done. It's been done already this year, just not in soccer. So, um, yeah, you just never give up hope. And I mean, you've got Charlotte's number this year.
Yeah.
Um, it's gonna be tough, but it can be done.
So the key to this match, if I were to say that there was a key to this one, obviously One Knox's defense has to come up big. They have to perform. They have to stop Charlotte's offense.
Which is a strong suit of this One Knox team. So
Yeah,
I yeah, but that Charlotte offense is potent to say the least.
exactly. Um, I have routinely said this. I do not feel comfortable lining up against the Charlotte Independence offense with the likes of Gabriel Overton,
Mhm.
Trezor Mbuyu, Dane Kelly, Joel Johnson. I mean, these are guys who are just so good. Corey Bennett,
Yeah, they got some dudes, that's for sure.
Miguel Ibarra. So one of my favorite players to watch in the league is Miguel Ibarra.
Mhm.
I'm not afraid to admit that. That guy Like, yeah. If I could chat with that guy, I would love to get some insight into how he plays the game, how he's able to control the midfield, how he's able to find those lanes to find so many assists.
Hmm.
Because he has 7 on the season so far. He's a lot of fun to watch. That whole team is fun to watch.
Hmm.
They silently produce. There's so much attention that's being pulled toward Union Omaha, toward North Carolina, toward you know other clubs throughout the league. I mean, there's so much attention being taken elsewhere. Charlotte is not getting enough attention, and they may be a club in a few weeks where we may be looking back thinking, how are we not talking about them more?
Hmm.
But for this match alone, one knocks, and you spoke to it. They have a great defense. They have to live up to that reputation, and they have to stop Charlotte.
Hmm. I mean,
That's something. Go ahead.
one big thing with them, obviously, is Sean Lewis in goal. I mean,
Yes.
he's leading right now for Golden Glove still. So you have the leader of Golden Glove in between the sticks. So great goalkeeping is going to give you a chance. You just need your defense to do their thing. Um, no, no small task against this Charlotte team. I will admit, but yeah, this is going to be a match where both of these. I mean, it's been kind of the same as the rest of the matches. It's the best on best. I mean, Knoxville's best at defending, Charlotte's best at attacking. So, which
Yeah.
one's going to win it? Which one's going to show um, why that part of their game gets so much praise?
Yeah. Um, if I'm going to lean on anybody in the One Knox organization for this match, I'm going to lean on Kelly Rosales. He's been very productive for that club in recent weeks,
Hmm.
and they need that production from him this week as well. Um, he's he's an emotional leader of that team. He's certainly a statistical producer for them as well. They need to step up for this game, and they need to match Charlotte toe to toe at the line. They're playing for their season. I mean, if you let's look at their elimination scenario here. For One Knox, their elimination scenario is if they lose to Charlotte and Madison wins or draws versus Lexington, they're out. There's also a scenario involving One Knox drawing, but if you're a One Knox fan, if you're a One Knox player, you have to brush all that aside. You can only look at winning this match.
Hmm.
You can't consider another result. Your back is against the wall. You can't sit here and do the math and think, okay, well, if we do this, then we can rely on these results over here. You control your own destiny here. If you win, you are still safe. But playing Charlotte,
Hmm.
that's tough. Playing Charlotte at home, like in Charlotte,
Yeah.
oh, that's tough.
Hmm. Yeah. It definitely is. And then they One Knox does not have the most kind schedule coming up either. I mean, they are playing at home against Richmond, which now doesn't look as scary, but then they also go to NCFC to end the season. So, um, yeah, that's real tough for them.
All right, so let's jump ahead and get into predictions here. What are you thinking?
Do I pick a draw in this one because I didn't in Omaha and NCFC? I think I will. I really like Sean Lewis in goal, um, even against this very good uh, attacking Charlotte team. But um, I feel like he's going to let one in. But I also feel like Charlotte's defense has been suspect at times and is susceptible. So I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Okay. I am going to go with. I think Charlotte. Man, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with a Charlotte 2-0 victory.
It's fair. So you think they're one knocks his chances for the playoff almost assuredly die Saturday night.
I do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the scruffs out there if you're watching or listening. I'm sorry. I think, yeah, I think your season's over this weekend.
Yeah. Tough to argue with.
Over in the YouTube chat, Tim is saying 1-0 Knox. Wow. He's,
Maximum a 1-1 draw.
yeah. Ooh. Sean coming in. He's throwing some NFL talk in there, saying the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl. He's a Detroit guy. Of course, he's going to say that.
Not gonna lie, I know absolutely zero about the NFL. So
Yeah, I haven't even gotten into football mode yet. Not even college, like college or pro. I haven't even gotten into football mode yet.
oh no, college football is my big first love. As soon as college football hit, that's what I've been watching. Other than obviously League One matches. But
As soon as League One is over, I'll start getting into football. That'll be around the same time that hockey is starting, so I'll get into hockey.
mhm.
But yeah, here and now, my entire focus is on League One. But I'm liking the predictions you guys are putting out there.
Oh yeah.
All right, so let's jump into the next Saturday night match. We have Forward Madison hosting Lexington. This is going to be a. This one is, man, you better get your speedometer out because this is going to be a fast one.
Yeah. I mean this one. Oh boy. Well, let's talk about what they got going on first before we really get into it. It's Latino Heritage Night um up there in Madison. Um and obviously again, Madison just knocking it out of the park with promos here. $26 gets you a ticket to the flock end, a 16-ounce Modelo, and a fruit cup and a poster. So, I
Yeah.
mean, again, it doesn't need to be said, but Madison and their promo nights are some of the best, not only in League One or even the soccer sphere, but I mean their promo packages are better than some minor league baseball teams as well.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
um, yeah, credit where credit is due. They've done a phenomenal job all season and have since their inception.
And if you have not seen that poster yet, check it out because that is a beautiful poster. Full credit to the artists that are involved with the creation of this poster. Now, if I butcher your name, I am so sorry. Rodrigo uh, Carapia, Carapia, yeah.
Sure.
And then Isis Macias. I don't. Hopefully, it's not ISIS. I really don't want to say ISIS Macias, but this is Macias. So check out this poster. If you are in Madison, if you go to this match, get a poster because it is beautiful.
Hmm.
And then if you're at that match as well, if you get there between 4 and 5, you can go check out Mexican soccer legend Carlos Salcido. He's going to be there for pictures and autographs on a first come, first serve basis. So the earliest you get there, the better chance you have of getting a picture and an autograph.
Nice.
So make sure to get in front of that line. And speaking of promos that you were just talking about, did you see their video when they were lampooning that car commercial earlier this week?
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, that's Madison's game. Their social media be strong.
yeah, that was too damn good. I was just waiting for someone to do that. And of course, it would be Forward Madison that would do that.
Oh yeah, yeah. They jumped right on it as per usual. Um, so obviously, great job goes out to the social media team on that, and
Yeah.
also great job for everybody coming out and doing their school supply drive last Wednesday. They said it was a great success, and they wanted to thank everybody who donated and everybody that was involved. So always love to see school supply drives. It's something that definitely needs to happen more often, especially with how expensive things are getting now, and um, kids should never go out without supplies for school. So that should always be food and supplies for school. Anything school related should be fully funded, and if we got to help make that happen, then obviously that's what we need to do. But
So
great
be it.
job,
We got to,
everybody.
yeah, so be it. We got to support each other.
Hmm.
All right, let's get into the nitty gritty of this match because we still have the Ramos players that are filling in. We have Atez Diouf, who has been on fire for Lexington.
Yeah.
Not to mention Khalid Balogun, not to mention Amal Knight for Lexington. Um, there are a lot of big names that are going to be involved in this match.
Hmm.
And I wonder, I mean, we haven't even mentioned like Christian Chaney or Derek Gebhardt or anything like that.
Hmm.
Jay Nonan for Ford Madison. Um, I wonder how Ford Madison is going to deal with the high press.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. They've had some issues with it this season. Definitely going to be something to look out for. Um, I guess for me, Lexington is not very good away from home. I mean, and that is an understatement. They've won one match away from home and lost 10. I mean that and their away form is just atrocious. Um, they give up over 2 goals per match on average, and they only score about 1.5 goals a match, um, and have yet to have a clean sheet on the road. That just does not bode well, and especially going into Forward Madison, who has always had terrific fan support. I expect it to be no different for this one. That's a really tough ask for any player on Lexington to go into that kind of atmosphere with the away form that they have to try to steal a victory when you're already eliminated from the playoffs at this point.
Yeah. Ford Madison is a club that is very pass oriented. Glazer has certainly instilled that style amongst them. They are also a very accurate passing team. They will spend time swinging the ball left and right, trying to find those open channels in their opposition. So Lexington, it's going to feed right into Lexington's high press. If Ford Madison can get past that initial press, I think that opens up a lot of opportunities for Forward Madison going forward into the final third.
Hmm.
That's going to be a key factor for Forward Madison. Um, Another thing that Forward Madison is really good at is working the midfield. They intercept a lot of passes. So, with Lexington's direct style of play, that may play right into Forward Madison's hands. We've seen Forward Madison transfer to that 3-5-2 formation when they go on defense. So if you're crowding the midfield, you're closing down those passing lanes, you're opening up all those opportunities for interceptions and counterattacks.
Yeah.
Um, Ford Madison has also had a lot of clean sheets. I think they're even. I think when Chip was texting us earlier this week, he was even saying that they're close to breaking the league record. Now they have 12 clean sheets right now, and the record is 14, set in 2021 by Greenville and 2019 by Greenville and North Texas. So they still have an opportunity because they have what, 3 matches left in their season. So they theoretically could break that record, but I'm not terribly concerned about that one at this point.
No. No.
At this point, let's just get into the playoffs. How about that?
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean their magic number right now is 6. So they can get it this weekend, but they do need a little bit of help. They need to beat Lexington and have Tormenta lose against Richmond and One Knox lose or draw to Charlotte. So
Ooh,
all possible, but honestly, with the matches left in the season, Madison just needs to get 6 points however they can,
yeah,
um, and then they don't have to worry about help from other teams at that point.
yeah. For me, to sum it up very succinctly, I think Lexington's style is playing right into Ford Madison's hands.
Hmm.
I don't want to say that Lexington is walking into a firing squad. At the same time, I don't think this is looking very good for Lexington.
Yeah, I would completely agree with you.
So let's jump straight down into predictions. What are you thinking?
Uh, taking into account the away form of Lexington, the home form of Madison, and then the fans that are going to be there in Madison. Um, and for Madison fighting for playoffs right now, and Lexington not, I have to give the nod to Forward Madison, and I think it's going to be pretty convincing. I'm going to say 3-0 Forward Madison.
I was going to say the same damn thing. All right, so I got to change it. I don't want to be the same as you. Yeah, it's funny how we look at certain clubs and we automatically incorporate their fans as
Hmm.
having such a huge influence into the final result of the match. We look at Richmond, we look at Ford Madison, we look at Union Omaha. Um, the fan presence certainly has an effect of the play on the field. I think right along with you, we're going to see that this weekend. You say 3-0. I'll go 3-1 just to give Lexington a goal there.
Yeah, I hate to do it to Lexington, but this one they just seem a little bit outmatched against this Forward Madison team.
Yeah.
Um, and also Tim in the live chat throwing his prediction out there saying 2-0 Forward Madison. So
2-0 Madison. All right.
looks like we're all about on the same page in this match here.
Yeah. All right. And speaking of clubs that seem to be outmatched here, hopefully you and I agree on this one, so I'm not spouting off on you here. We have Richmond hosting Tormenta. And if you are in the Richmond area, go to this match. There's a craft beer festival. Enough said.
Hmm.
But if you get a ticket to the beer festival, and I think there's going to be, what, 9 breweries and distillers. Excuse me. I'm drinking plenty of beer here. There's going to be like, I'm pretty sure there's going to be 9 breweries and distillers at this beer festival. So get a ticket, go to the match, support Richmond, enjoy some drinks along the way. It's going to be a great night, another great night at City Stadium.
Hmm.
Hard to turn that down.
Oh yeah.
But as far as the match goes, it's kind of hard to think this is going to go any other way than the Tormenta win. And I hate to jump straight into predictions, but Richmond has lost their last 3.
Hmm.
They've lost 3 in their last 5. We can go even further into their recent losses. I don't think they've won a match in a couple months, maybe.
Hmm. Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was July, early July.
Their last win was on July 1st. There you go. Congrats, Brian.
See, that's why
Uh,
I went back and forth between June or July. I just couldn't remember. It was basically the same damn time.
it was in July.
Yeah, can't be wrong if you say both of them at the same time.
Yeah. So in their last 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 matches, they have not won a single one. And you are lining up against the high powered, highly motivated Tormenta team that is playing on the road.
Hmm. And Richmond does not play well at home. They are the second worst home record team. Um, yeah, I don't want to beat an already down team in Richmond, but I really, unless Swatsky pulls something out of his ass on this one, I can't see it going any other way than Tormenta getting a W.
Yeah. And I think Alex posted on Twitter that he wasn't going to be there for this one. I think he went to his last Richmond match either last week or the week before.
I think I
Uh,
remember seeing that. Yeah.
and well, we know Yogi's going to be there.
Yeah.
I just, man, this is one of the ones where it's a lot easier to call. It's tougher to draw a lot of storylines out of this one.
Hmm.
It just seems straightforward. I'm sorry. I apologize to the Richmond fans out there. This one just seems so straightforward.
Yeah. I agree.
In that case, let's just jump straight into the predictions for this one. What you got?
I think it's going to be close, but 3-2 Tormenta.
Tormenta. Okay. Oh, and Tormenta, they do face an elimination scenario here. So if Greenville beats Northern Colorado and Tormenta loses to Richmond and Madison beats Lexington, um, Tormenta's out of the playoffs.
Hmm.
That's a lot to have happen, though.
Yeah, that's a couple of ands in there.
Yeah,
There's no draw room in there either. It's all wins or losses.
yeah. And neither of us is predicting a Tormenta loss here, so that pretty much squashes everything there. So for me, I am going to go with a man. I hate to say it, but I'm going to go 3-0 Tormenta.
Ooh.
Yeah, I I I think this one could be ugly.
Hmm. Yeah, and Tim in the live chat also saying 2-1 for Tormenta.
2-1. Okay.
And also Tim dropping in and saying not just supporting Richmond, going back to the craft brewery discussion, is they have a link that if you buy a ticket for the match, they donate $5 for every ticket to a youth futsal player who got selected for the U.S. national team.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So yeah, another great cause, another reason to get out to City Stadium. Um, Not like Richmond fans need another excuse to get out to City Stadium; they show up regardless. So
Yeah.
um, that's good. That's really cool that they decided to donate for the futsal players too.
I hadn't seen that promotion yet. That is really, really cool. Good on Richmond for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
They also brought on a new person for their front office. I think she's going to be taking charge of the women's team. I'm happy to see that they're
Oh,
expanding
nice.
the women's front office there too. I
Yeah,
apologize for not having her name on hand.
I had not seen that yet. That's awesome though.
I can look that up really quick though before we get into the next match, which is going to be a fun one to discuss.
Yeah.
Richmond.
And Tim saying she's communications and management for the women's team.
Yes, that's the headline I'm looking for. Thank you, Tim. Um, McGinley. She's going to be communications and digital media manager.
Nice.
Um, yeah, she's going to be helping out with Richmond Kickers and the W League, Richmond, Virginia, as that media manager. So that's really freaking cool.
Awesome. Oh yeah.
Oh, and we skipped over some Tormenta news
Oh,
because
we did.
that was a short one. So Tormenta's senior director of business operations, Aaron Cranford, is leaving the club. He's going to be the new director of digital media over at MLS Orlando City, as well as NWSL's Orlando Pride.
Yeah. Wearing multiple
Yeah,
hats there.
yeah. So congrats to Aaron for getting that promotion. That's a hell of a promotion too. Holy
Mm-hmm.
crap. Um, just gonna throw the plug out there. Tormenta. If you're hiring, it sounds like you are. Let us know where we can submit the resume. And all right, so we go into our final match of week 29, Saturday night between Chattanooga and Central Valley Fuego. This one is for the wooden cup or the
Spoon.
wooden spoon. Sorry, wooden spoon. Uh, if you are going to this one, if you are in Chattanooga, get to the stadium early. They're going to be having a beer fest between 6 and 7:30 at the stadium. 29.99 for a ticket, and that's going to get you unlimited samples to 15 local, regional, and national breweries, as well as a general admission ticket and a Red Wolves Stein. And hopefully it's something, high quality like this Union Omaha Stein here.
Mm-hmm.
If while you're drinking, if you are looking to get some food, they're also going to have some hot dog sliders and beer cheese available for purchase. I'm not looking forward to all the memes of people eating hot dogs and both Chip and I being thrown into that discussion.
Yeah.
Thank you, Union Omaha, for that one.
The cameras at Warner are not forgiving.
They got me. There's also going to be an inflatable house for any kids that are 10 and younger.
Sweet.
So that'll be cool. All right. So for this one, like we said, this is going to be for the wooden spoon. If Chattanooga wins, Central Valley gets the wooden spoon. Central Valley has to win every single match the rest of the season. At the same time, they need Chattanooga to lose every match the rest of the season in order for Central Valley to not get the wooden spoon.
Yeah.
And Central Valley is going to the den.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
Yeah. Another great atmosphere and
yeah.
I mean, these teams have come on a little bit late in the season, so this match 3 or 4 weeks ago would have looked like, okay, well, snooze fest, like who cares? But this actually has a little bit of intrigue. Chattanooga in their last five has 4 wins and a draw, and Central Valley Fuego, excuse me, is 3 wins and 2 losses. So both teams getting some wins in their last five. So, and I mean that, I guess getting hot when it counts. I'm not really sure, but this is definitely going to be one to tune into, if especially if you're concerned about the wooden spoon race and who you chose to win the wooden spoon this year. Um, Maybe like the person sitting to the left on my screen might want to look at that. But yeah, this is a tough one because if Chattanooga wins, Central Valley is the wooden spoon winner or recipient, whatever we're going to call them. Um, and Fuego needs to win out and have Chattanooga, excuse me, lose out or lose one and draw two, because they Central Valley has the tiebreaker.
And for several weeks, like you said, I was saying I was wholeheartedly, I was very confident saying that Central Valley was not going to get the wooden spoon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's not the same anymore. They're going to get the wooden spoon.
uh, I see. This is where I you still might have hope, because if you look at the remaining schedule for Chattanooga, they play 2 playoff teams, which I don't, the fifth easiest or eighth toughest in the league, but they're playing Greenville and Northern Colorado. That seems very skewed to to me. I don't feel like that's the fifth easiest home or finishing schedule for the season.
Yeah.
Um, and Central Valley has a much easier one with Greenville, um, and then at Richmond to end the season out. So that's the third easiest. I mean, who knows? With these two teams, there's not really an easy part of anything. I feel like these two teams this season have just been unlucky. So honestly, even stepping foot off the bus is probably difficult at this point for both of these teams.
Okay. So if you are listening or watching and you're thinking Chattanooga has this one in the bag, let me throw some doubt into your confidence here, because Central Valley has 20 points on the season. Of those 20 points, four have come from their matchups against Chattanooga. They have a win and a draw against Chattanooga. A fifth of their points have come from one single club. In fact, the only shutout that Central Valley has on the road is against Chattanooga.
Oof.
Chattanooga has only been shut out at home. Let's see, they've been shut out at home twice. The one of them was against Northern Colorado, and obviously, as we just mentioned, the other one is Central Valley Fuego. So there's some doubt in this one. Central Valley can play and they can compete in these kind of matchups.
Mm-hmm.
We saw them play up to Union Omaha last week.
Yep.
Um, Chattanooga, let's see. Chattanooga won. Yeah, they had that 5-3 victory over Lexington last week. And man, they struck fast in that first half. Uh, I think the key for Chattanooga in this matchup, you have to strike fast like you did against Lexington.
Hmm.
You have to take away any and all confidence away from Central Valley as soon as possible.
Yep.
As soon as you take away their confidence, you can ride out that match like you did against Lexington. Yeah, they got 3 goals, but at the same time, by halftime, that one was over. For Central Valley, the key is going to be canceling out players key to that are integral to Chattanooga's offense. And when I mean those players, I'm looking at Riley Kraft. I'm looking at Siobhan Marsh. Um, Obviously, you can throw Rapapa Mensah in there.
Hmm.
Um, you have to, the way that Central Valley played against Union Omaha, they have to do that again against Chattanooga. You have to stack your midfield. You have to close down those passing lanes, and you have to work at gaining possession. Once you gain possession, you gain opportunities on goal. You cannot afford to give Chattanooga any opportunities uh, against you. They have proven players who can be productive on the field, on the scoreboard, on the stats sheet, whichever way you want to look at it. They can hurt you. Um, yeah, for Chattanooga, you got to strike early. For Central Valley, you got to dominate the midfield. You got to cancel out any connection between the defense and midfield and the top line. You got to cancel them out.
Hmm.
Um, so, if we're going to do predictions for this one, what are you thinking?
Oh, it's in the den. Uh, Neither of these teams are very good in either of these positions, home or away. So, but I'm gonna go with Chattanooga in the den. Their run of form has just been better recently, and I feel like they are the better team in this one. So give me Chattanooga 4-2.
Wow, you were really close to Tim. In the YouTube, he's saying 3-2 Chattanooga.
3-2 chat. Yep.
Yeah. I think this one's going to be a 1 goal difference. I think it's going to be way less scoring. I'll take Chattanooga 1-0.
It's fair.
So what was your prediction again? You said 3-2 Chattanooga?
4-2 Chattanooga.
4-2 Chattanooga. And I said 1-0. All right. All right, so that is all of our predictions and previews for week 29. We didn't have any questions submitted, but I had one that I had for you. So recently,
Okay.
Seattle Sounders released their rebranding within the MLS
Hmm.
ranks. They had that. They had 4 different logos in there, embracing their tradition, looking forward, to the future. Kind of a
Hmm.
minimalist logo.
Yeah, I like it.
Which USL League One club is next in line for a rebrand? And
Uh,
which one desperately needs one?
oh man. Which one's next in line for a rebrand? Because they've been around for so long, I'm gonna have to say Richmond. They could go through they could go through a rebrand and it wouldn't be like changing the identity of their club because they've gone through rebrands before. So I feel like Richmond is the next in line for one. And as far as what team desperately needs one, oh Lord.
I'm asking you to throw clubs under the bus on two fronts.
Well, the Richmond one makes sense. Like, yeah, they've been around forever. They can
Yeah,
rebrand every few years and no big deal because they're established. They ain't going nowhere, right?
yeah.
Um, oh man, uh, if I had to choose somebody for a rebrand, Forward Madison.
Really?
No, no, I wouldn't pick anybody for. I don't think anybody needs a rebrand. I think I it's like everybody's logos, everybody's stuff. It's just Forward Madison is more fun to poke fun of because their brand is probably the strongest brand in the league. So changing that would ruin that team. So
That's
no,
why I was so surprised.
yeah, no, that was a completely meme answer. I
You
don't
got me
have,
good on that one.
yeah, I don't have an answer for teams that there's not a team that needs a rebrand.
Nice.
There's only one team that could do it, but does not need to.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Richmond do a rebrand.
Just go with a
Um,
retro rebrand.
can I throw Spokane into that mix and say that they need a rebrand?
Sure.
I'm not a fan of their logo.
No, it's something.
Yeah,
We'll see what they do with it. I think
I yeah.
I wasn't completely in love. Full transparency, I wasn't completely in love with Union Omaha's at first, but it definitely
Really?
grew on me. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't like head over heels for it, but I also didn't think it was terrible. I thought
No, I
like
didn't think it was terrible at all. No.
I thought it was cool and unique. So I was leaning more toward the positive side. Uh, but I certainly wasn't like, oh, that's a terrible design or anything like that.
No, no. I didn't have strong feelings either way on it, but it has definitely grown on me.
Yeah. Um, for me, if I were to do any club or next in line for a rebrand,
Hmm.
yeah, I can see why you'd say Richmond. Um, might even, yeah, I can see why you'd say Richmond. I might like North Carolina is simple. I get
Hmm.
it. They don't have a moniker, so there's nothing like there's no like animal or object to embrace there. It's just a shield, like with a
Right.
star. Um, so yeah, I'll go with Richmond for the next in line. As far as desperately needs one, um, if I were to say anyone, I'll give two suggestions. I'll give Chattanooga just because the wolf has been lampooned so many times to being a sad wolf.
Yeah.
They may want to change that just to embrace like a different logo for the wolf or some incorporation of, for the club.
Hmm.
At the same time, maybe Fuego. I see the fire and all that kind of stuff, but the black and green stripe situation on the left side of that shield
Hmm.
doesn't jump out as much with the clarity. I I mean, I understand what the shield means. I've read the description of, what it means to the club history and everything. Maybe more emphasis on the flame, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think there's any club that's desperately in need of one. Um, but those would be my two suggestions for clubs that could use alterations to their logos.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All right, let's check out the YouTube chat here. We got Allison and Tim going back and forth here. Um, yeah, so Allison and I have chatted about this on several occasions. Spokane, she informed me that Spokane is the Lilac City. Why Spokane did not embrace the color lilac is
Hmm.
beyond me.
Yeah.
Another missed opportunity. Instead of going with Spokane, calling yourself Lilac City. That would have been fucking cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Spokane missed on a couple opportunities there. Um,
There's always
but
third kits, though.
exactly, it's always third kits.
There's always third kits.
Yeah. And let's see here. Do I want Fuego's flame with or without? Oh, God, I'm not.
Yeah. Um,
Tim.
there, there's Tim is full of some fire tonight that I don't think we need to keep dumping on some of the teams that we're going after.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's definitely gonna be a good weekend
Yeah.
of matches. I think we covered them pretty well.
Yeah.
See if any more teams lock up playoff spots this weekend. They have the potential to. So,
Yeah. So that's why we titled this episode, Is This the End? We
mhm.
don't know if every single playoff spot's going to be taken this weekend. Very well could be. There's a lot of exciting storylines to come, and we can't wait to talk about it next week once everything happens. We have a ton. Okay, tomorrow is going to be a huge day for social media for us because we're going to be throwing out our power rankings, our best, worst finishes for this week. We have the playoff scenarios. We have the polls. Hopefully, if I stay up late enough, I can get the videos situated for previews for tomorrow's matches. It's going to be a big day for us tomorrow on social media. So follow us on Twitter. Um, we will be throwing out a ton of stuff tomorrow. Next week, Brian and I have been doing some research. We're going to be throwing out some tables, some graphics for League One stats next week. That'll be a lot of fun. Very interesting to see how those discussions go. Aside from that, keep following us, and we'll be back next week for another episode of League One on the Rocks.
Yep. All right. Thanks, guys.